Welcome into college football now. I'm your host, Harrison Graham, and guess what? We're back with another major coaching hot board, 10 replacements for Justin Fuente at Virginia Tech after he is out after 6 seasons in Blacksburg. They have parted ways. They offered him to coach the remainder of the year as the Hokies sit at 5-5. He declined because, let's be honest, he probably wants to try and get his name out there for some of these other openings that are available. Fuente goes 43-31 in 6 seasons for the Hokies, but just 5-5 this year. And really, after a hot start where he went 19-8 in his first 2 seasons, 10-4 and 9-4, it has not been the same since then. His last 4 seasons, 24-23, a game above 500. That's not going to cut it for Virginia Tech, especially following in the footsteps of legendary head coach Frank Beamer. So the Hokies move on. He had been on and off the hot seat the past couple of years, Fuente had, but now they decide to pull the trigger, and their coaching search begins right away. Who should be the next head coach at Virginia Tech? This is going to be the pinned comment on today's video. So let us know, who do you think Virginia Tech should hire as their next head football coach? All right, we got 10 candidates to potentially replace him at Virginia Tech. And, hey, we got to include Beamer's son, Shane, right, who's the head coach at South Carolina, his first year at South Carolina. First year, second year, I can't remember. I think it's his first year. He's 5-5. It's not bad for the Gamecocks, considering how bad they were. Let's be honest, though. Shane Beamer doesn't want this pressure, does he? He doesn't want to try to live up to his dad's legendary status at Virginia Tech. Plus, you add the fact that Shane has repeatedly called South Carolina his dream job throughout the season. I don't know why South Carolina would be your dream job, but he keeps saying it. I don't think this is the direction they'll go in. I don't think they should do it. I think they should go in a completely new direction, and I don't think Shane wants that pressure anyway. I think he's going to hang out at South Carolina. But what do you guys think? Should Virginia Tech give Shane Beamer a look? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I would personally pass. I'm typing my N for no on this idea. Next up, Bill O'Brien, who's serving as the offensive coordinator for Alabama. I am not as high on him, but did a decent job at Penn State after the whole Joe Paterno mess kind of stabilized that program before moving on to the Houston Texans, where he wasn't as bad as people think. As a coach, the Texans were making the playoffs consistently, but putting him in charge of player personnel, that's a different story. Bama's offense has been good this year, but it hasn't been quite as good as it was with Steve Sarkisian. We'll see. I'm not super down on O'Brien, but I think there are names I would rather go after. At number 8, Marcus Freeman, the defensive coordinator at Notre Dame, kind of a dark horse candidate. Bruce Feldman of The Athletic has listed several of these candidates, but including Freeman. He mentioned him, was the DC at Cincinnati under Luke Fickell in 2020. That got him the Notre Dame gig as running that defense. Notre Dame's having a great year, especially on that side of the ball. He's a hot young name to keep in mind. I don't know if he'll get this job, but I bet he'll get one in the near future. At number 7, Mike Elko, you could say the same about him. Not as young as Freeman, but a smart young defensive mind who is recruiting his ass off for Texas A&M, and that defense has been nasty for a couple of years. What he does really well at is recruiting defensive linemen, and I feel like Virginia Tech needs to be a program that gets back to being a more physical football team, creating turnovers. That's Beamer ball, right? Creating havoc, and that obviously did not happen under Justin Fuente. What type of coach should Virginia Tech hire? We just looked at a couple of defensive guys, type O for offensive or type D for defensive. Obviously, Fuente's an offensive guy, and mixed results, right? The offense had some good years, not so good years. Overall, too inconsistent. So let me know. Type O for offensive or type D for defensive. Okay, number 6, Tony Elliott, who his name's been brought up for a couple of jobs this year. I know TCU interviewed him. I'm not sure where he sits in their coaching search at this point in time, but he's been a hot name in recent years. I feel like it's cooled off a little this year, considering with Trevor Lawrence and some of those guys moving on to the NFL, the offense has struggled considerably compared to that. DJ Uiagalelei did not or has not played that well this year. Is that an Elliott problem? Is that a player personnel problem? Is it just a transition year at Clemson? I don't know. I've got him at number 6. I think he's a good candidate. I think there's better candidates as well. Before we get to our top 5, get going with BetUS. Chatsports.com/bet. Use our promo code CHAT125. Folks, college football is already a blast. Betting on it is even more fun because you can make money. So go to our link, chatsports.com/bet, promo code chat125, and follow these steps because we are continuing our jersey giveaway deal for the next several days. Chatsports.com/bet. That is the key. You got to start with that. Promo code chat125. If you just Google BetUS and go to the website without using our link, it's not going to work. The jersey deal will not apply for you. Deposit a minimum of $100. You'll get $125 for free with that deposit bonus. Then all you got to do, place a bet on any game for any amount. Just lay $5 on your favorite team. Once you do that, email us, jersey@chatsports.com. We'll hook you guys up with a brand new jersey once we confirm your account status. Tons of different college ones available. Email us, jersey@chatsports.com. There's also a Virginia Tech one available as well that we're not flashing on screen, but there are Hokie ones available. So go ahead and get going with BetUS by going to chatsports.com/bet and then email us, jersey@chatsports.com. We'll hook you guys up with a brand new free jersey. At number 5, Billy Napier, the head coach of Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns. He's on pace for his third straight 10-plus win season there. He's a really hot name, and I think he's going to have better options. Now, Virginia Tech's a good job. This is a tough year, though, for job openings in college football because in most years, if Virginia Tech came open, you'd be like, that's the best job available, right? But there's LSU, USC, Washington is out there. TCU's a good job. Like, there are good jobs already in the mix in college football. You're for sure behind LSU and USC if you're Virginia Tech, and you're probably on par with Washington and maybe even TCU. So I think Napier's going to have better options. The chatter I hear, too, is he wants to stay south. Long term, he wants the Alabama job, but he'll have to take a Power 5 job before getting that one eventually. I just don't know if it'll be Virginia Tech, but he's certainly worth reaching out to. Sonny Dykes, Bruce Feldman listed him high on his list, the SMU head coach. He's high on TCU's list. I know that for a fact. I don't know if he's their number one, but he's definitely in their top 5. This feels very Justin Fuente to me, where he's doing well at a group of 5 program, running a good offense. But we saw Sonny Dykes go 19-30 as the head coach at Cal. Now, Virginia Tech's a better job than Cal. It doesn't mean he doesn't deserve another opportunity to run a Power 5 program, but Fuente and Dykes are very similar to me, whereas Fuente was doing great at Memphis. Dykes was doing great at SMU, but it didn't translate. Now, that's not saying it wouldn't in this case, but I would probably go in a different direction if I was Virginia Tech. Now, we kind of alluded to this earlier. Out of these 3 openings, what is the best job? Type VT for Virginia Tech, type UW for Washington, or type TCU for TCU. I think Washington might have the slight edge out of these 3, but there's pros and cons to all of these jobs. Let us know what you guys think down in the comments. At number 3, Joe Moorhead, the offensive coordinator for Oregon. He was the OC at Penn State, so there's some regional potential regional ties there. Didn't work out at Mississippi State as the head coach, but I think that could have just been a bad culture fit in the SEC there. He's doing well again at Oregon. I think this makes some sense. If you want to go after Joe Moorhead, I also think he's going to be in the mix for the Washington job, which he's obviously a lot closer to at this point in Eugene, Oregon. At number 2, Jamey Chadwell, the head coach of Coastal Carolina, who's done tremendous work for a program that hasn't even existed for that many years. I think this makes a lot of sense. Now, is Coastal to Virginia Tech a big leap? Yes. I would argue it's not as big as you would think, though. Number 1, Coastal is probably a top 5 group of 5 program over the last 2 years with what Chadwell's been able to do. And he's right there on the coast, which is right there where Virginia Tech is. Like, regionally, it's right there. You're just getting better recruits in that area. Chadwell's already recruiting in Virginia Tech's backyard. He would just have more resources now. I think he deserves an opportunity at a bigger job. I think the regional ties make sense, and he's a young, hungry guy looking for success that can bring you success quickly. I think Jamey Chadwell might be my number 1 option. But the biggest name, the biggest buzz I'm hearing right now, Dave Clawson, the head coach at Wake Forest, who's done a pretty good job there. Before this year, they were kind of like 5 to 7 or 8 wins in most years, 7-5 on average or so at Wake. But number one, it's Wake. Wake's not a very good program, and he's had them go to several bowl games. And two, you've seen the breakout this year. He's had an exciting offense at Wake Forest. Wake might win the ACC. If they didn't lose that close game to North Carolina, you're talking about a team that could be a dark horse college football playoff contender at Wake Forest. That's pretty impressive with the resources they have. Virginia Tech has much more resources than Wake does, so that feels like natural progression there. But he's also been at Wake for 8 years. Like, he might just be comfortable at this point in his coaching career. I like Chadwell a lot. I think Clawson's a good candidate. So is Moorhead. Lots of names out there, but a lot of open jobs right now. So it's a tough, competitive coaching carousel this year in college football. So we asked you guys earlier. We'll ask you guys one more time. Who should be the next head coach at Virginia Tech? If you can pick anyone for this job, who are you picking? Let us know down in the comments section, and we'll see you next time, probably with another college football hot board very, very soon.